This is the second time in 2 years Minnesota has had a starring role in an Al-Shabaab video. In a 2013 video called Minnesota's Martyrs, Al-Shabaab profiled 2 Minnesota men they recruited and were later killed in Somalia. And while that video boasted of the successful recruiting of young Minnesotans, this latest video appears to be the first time a threat of a terror attack here has been made so publicly. Joining us to talk about this and other issues, Senator Amy Klobuchar. Senator,
thank you, Esme.
Thank you so much for coming in. Secretary of Homeland Security says this morning on CNN, people going to the Mall of America today should be very careful. Essentially a warning. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that his deputy has since clarified that he didn't mean in any way that people shouldn't go to the Mall of America. And I think we know that we have such good law enforcement here in Minnesota, both on the federal, state, local level, that have always been diligent and know that they have to protect that mall. And I'm sure they've already said they've put increased security. So I look at it that way. I also think, as you point out, we have seen this group, Al-Shabaab, pure evil. We've seen them try to recruit people. They've done these sophisticated videos before with showing plane tickets of people going from Minneapolis to Somalia, trying to recruit them. And so this isn't the first time that they have singled out our state and our community.
All right, I want to be very specific here because the Secretary's comments, he is the head guy when it comes to Homeland Security. And what he said this morning kind of amped this up a little bit. Are you saying that he's walking some of those comments back?
I think that they did, because immediately afterward, their deputy secretary said that he didn't mean that people shouldn't go to the mall. I think we've heard Homeland Security secretaries in the past say that people should be vigilant everywhere. They want to hear reports. I'm sure he would say it about other malls as well, whether they're named by this terrorist group or not. I think the point of this is that people always need to be vigilant, but they made it very clear that people should feel comfortable going to the mall.
Okay. The Secretary did say in that interview that he knew that there would be additional security, including federal security, at the Mall of America. Do you have any firsthand knowledge of that, or are you assured that that will actually happen?
Well, I have talked to our U.S. Attorney already this morning, and we've been in contact with Homeland Security, and I know that everyone is focused on how to best protect the mall. But we have to also remember that this is why we had this conference this last week at the White House, because these groups are targeting not just in Minnesota. Boston was there, L.A. There's examples all over the country where they target people, either ISIS or Al-Shabaab, and get them to fight overseas. We have been very successful in Minnesota in going after these guys. 20 indictments on Al-Shabaab alone, 9 convictions so far. That is all because we were able to work our law enforcement, federal and state level, with the community and be able to hire Somali police officers out of Sheriff Stanek's office, out of the police department. So trust is built, so you're able to get information to find out who these bad guys are and what's happening.
You know, it's almost as if the terrorists are thumbing their nose at that White House summit. This is a very slickly produced video.
It is. And again, these groups are pure evil, and that is why you see us going after them overseas with our allies, as well as protecting our homeland here.
Okay, switching gears here, you visited a country that for years has been actually on the terror watch list in terms of supporting terrorism, Cuba, and now suddenly we are going to be normalizing relations. Are you comfortable with that? I know you had a mission that you feel was very successful. Are you committed to that? I know you've got a summit on this issue tomorrow. You're introducing legislation.
Well, yes, I have a bill to lift the embargo, supported by several Republicans who are co-sponsors of the bill. The point here is we've had 50 years of a policy that hasn't worked. The same forces are running that country, and yet the people in the country, based on my last visit, they want to do business with America. They are glad that their president and our president have talked about opening relations. And for Minnesota, this means jobs. That country wants American goods. And we are already doing $20 million a year. We're forecast to go up to $40 million in agriculture products. And the sky's the limit. Canada does almost in the $200 million range every single year. We're talking about soybeans. We're talking about pork and beef and other things that we make in Minnesota that they'd like to see in Cuba.
Shifting gears to another issue that you're working on, sex trafficking. You have joined with a number of people across the aisle to support a bill that would provide safe harbor, in other words, no prosecution for young victims of sex trafficking. You've been trying to do this for quite a while. Are you more optimistic now?
I am, and this is a bill that Eric Paulson is carrying in the House, and we feel very good about where this is moving because all 20 women senators, I helped lead this effort. We've got 6 Republicans now, 14 Democrats, asked for this hearing in Judiciary. We're having it on Tuesday. We're going to focus on the work that's going on in Minnesota, and the bill is actually up for markup. Senator Grassley, the Republican head of the Judiciary Committee, has put it on the agenda. So I feel very good that this bill, based on the Minnesota model, will advance and pass in Congress.
All right, so that means that young victims of sex trafficking, if they committed a crime such as prostitution, would not be prosecuted. As a former prosecutor, a good idea?
Yes, because it helps us, as we've seen all over our state, make the cases against the perpetrators that are running these sex rings. Ramsey County got a 40-year sentence against one of them, and you can't get those kinds of sentences unless people testify against the pimps and the people running the ring. Those are the victims. And the idea that we prosecute the victims when we actually want them to give us evidence against the ones running the ring make no sense. Plus, they can turn their lives around. They can get job training that's been contained in our bill, and they'll be able to start life afresh, because otherwise we're going to put them back in that cycle.
All right. Well, Senator Klobuchar, thank you so much, as always, for coming in.
All right. Thank you.